Welcome back to Freda Chando Analysis, ladies and gentlemen. The year 2023 that we are approaching is going to be a beehive of political activities. If whatever happened, politically speaking, in the year that we are leaving behind is anything to go by. Because the year 2022 is the year that people went to vote in August in a very hotly contested presidential election that went all the way to the Supreme Court. Immediately, William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua took oath of office. It seems they started focusing on what will happen in 2027. And one person who very many opponents thought that would go home is Raila Odinga. But it seems he is so much focused on making sure that he gives Ruto a run for his money and is not going home anytime soon. Because Raila Odinga believes that this is Azimio's moment. And he believes that in the year 2027, Azimio is going to be elected to State House. In this video, I want us to look at carefully the political movements of Raila Odinga that is pointing towards either contesting or sponsoring a very strong Azimio candidate to face off with William Samoei Ruto. Before we delve so much into this discussion, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe to our channel if you have not. Click the notification bell so that whenever we release a video like this, then YouTube will notify you, and give our videos many likes. To all those who have subscribed to our channel and giving us support in one way or the other, I want to say thank you very much. Now, Raila Odinga is a man who does not give up. For those who have followed his style of politics, when you think that Raila is politically down, it seems he undergoes some complete metamorphosis and he becomes another man altogether. Because in 2007, 2013 and 2017 and now 2022, Raila believes that his elections have been stolen by a cahoot of very many groups. And when people think that he will be disappointed and maybe decide to retire, it seems Raila is telling them, "A luta continua." Recently, when he was being interviewed, Raila said that elections are not about Raila Odinga. The elections in Kenya are about the people of Kenya themselves. Because he believes in the spirit of democracy, a government of the people, for the people, by the people. If you look at Raila's movement, Raila strongly believes that in the year 2027, Azimio will clinch power because, one, they will not have the baggage of the administration. You see, in the last contested elections, Raila carried the baggage of the former regime. The truth is, any sitting regime has got a lot of things in their back. Because when a government comes to power, there are several promises that they gave to wananchi. Then when they settle, they realize that there are several of those promises that they are unable to fulfill. And that marks the beginning of several enmity between the current administration or the powers that be and the common man. Raila Odinga was accused of very many things. William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua, while campaigning, said that Raila had captured Uhuru Kenyatta and that they had displaced William Ruto as the deputy president, and they decided to usurp powers that belonged to a duly elected deputy president who was then William Ruto, and they were now advising the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. This sank into the hearts of their supporters because at the height of those campaigns, Kenyans were struggling with very many economic challenges. You can name them. You talk of the high cost of living, skyrocketing prices of basic commodities, and they found an advantage and hit all the blame in Raila Odinga. Even when people when there was a debate between Martha Karua and Rigathi Gachagua, you realized that Rigathi was smart enough to cycle everything around state capture, because he wanted to entice Martha Karua to talk ill about or to try and defend Uhuru Kenyatta, so that people see that they are only defending a regime that in their own statement was a failure. So Raila believes that come 2027, they will have shelved this baggage because they are no longer supporting any government. You see, Raila Odinga has been known kama mtetezi wa watu. For all the years that he has done his politics, people have always said that Raila stands for the weak, the downtrodden, and those who cannot speak for themselves. And this is one of the moments that failed Raila Odinga in the last regime, because he could not criticize the same government that he had already gotten into a handshake with. Remember the handshake with Uhuru Kenyatta. So Raila believes that come 2027, the baggage of the moment will be carried by the same people who promised Kenyans heavens. That is William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua. And Raila also believes that 2027 will be an Azimio moment, because very many promises that William Ruto gave, plus all the other fallacies that they gave to Kenyans, shall have been scrutinized and come to the open as lies. One of the things that William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua said about Raila was that Raila was responsible for the skyrocketing prices of basic commodities. Bei ya unga, ya mafuta, ya mbolea, kila kitu. Walisema ni Raila ndiye alifanya bei ya maisha ikaenda juu. They even said that the huge loans that were being taken by that regime was because Raila Odinga was part and parcel of it. Notwithstanding the fact that William Ruto was the deputy president and everything was being done under his watch. So come 2027, people will know that everything that was being said was just a campaign gimmick. Because even as we speak, within just a few days, less than 200 days into the office, William Ruto got some loan from Korea. The IMF gave them the green light to take some loans to the tunes of billions of shillings. Even the shortage of food and even the problems that are bedeviling us, like drought and hunger, are things that are now at the heart of this regime. The other day they gave Kenyans a pay bill number to collect some money to contribute and help Kenyans that are dying of hunger. If you listen to some of our leaders, they no longer speak about the hustlers, but they speak about themselves and remind William Ruto that we voted for you. So the focus has changed, and the center of attention now, it's not the hustler, it's not the ordinary man, but it is the leaders who are now telling William Ruto that we voted for you and therefore you must give us what we want. So come 2027, everything shall have come to the open, and wananchi will know that all that was said was never true about Raila Odinga. That is what he believes, and he believes that it will be their moment. Rigathi Gachagua headed a campaign where they painted the former president Uhuru Kenyatta as a man who had neglected the Mount Kenya electorates who voted for him. And in fact, he said that Raila Odinga stole their president and took him to Kisumu, where the president launched very many prestigious development programs, including expansion of that airport, building of roads, and that port in Kisumu. And he wiped the emotions of central people. And he told them that this is the moment to ensure that Uhuru's project, Raila Odinga, was voted out. If you have seen what is happening in Central, for the very first time, people are lining up and scrambling for relief food. And I remember sometimes back when Uhuru Kenyatta took them some relief food, they refused because there was a lot of political gimmick. We were playing politics with everything that we were doing. And Raila believes that maybe they will unveil to them and demystify all the lies around what was being said then, and the Kenyans themselves are really watching what is happening. Because Raila Odinga keeps on saying that there will come a moment when Kenyans will know the truth, and he keeps on repeating this. Martha Karua the same, and Kalonzo Musyoka the same. So this is the reason why Raila is not giving up. And when the opponents want him to go home, Raila is very unapologetic and is saying that he's not going anywhere because he wants to lead what he calls economic and political justice, political and economic reforms. And he wants these reforms in the economic sector, in IEBC, in the judiciary. And he believes that together, Azimio can forge an alliance that will ensure that there are changes that they want. Raila and the Azimio fraternity believes very strongly that they control a majority of votes in this country. Because even if you work with the number that was given by Wafula Chebukati, the difference between William Ruto and Raila Odinga was about 200,000 votes. And there were a lot of malpractices according to them. And if you followed what was happening in the Supreme Court, and these 200,000 votes, very many Azimio supporters believe that this difference came from Bungoma, where they believe, as was proved, or they tried to prove using their lawyer, Julie Soweto, that there were a lot of malpractices that took place in Bungoma. Even recently, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, Papa Roma himself, said that he gave William Ruto more than, I think, 200,000 votes. And he really felt bad that William Ruto was sponsoring a candidate to contest in the Bungoma senatorial race. So with this gap, Raila believes that they can narrow this gap, because according to them, even this gap is one that was full of irregularities. They believe that their votes in a finua. And so that's why you see Raila is still struggling, trying very hard to consolidate this support. Because Kalonzo Musyoka has this support, Raila still has his support. So he wants to ensure that he keeps them busy, reminding them that they still have a dream to fulfill, so that come 2027, they have their people. I have heard very many supporters of William Ruto saying that there were a number of absentee voters in his strongholds, that there are several voters that did not turn out to vote. And they're saying that if they had done this, maybe Raila Odinga would have won. So this adds to his advantage, because if it is true that there were several of them who did not vote, then it means that if he wakes them up and tells them that this time around come and vote, then he believes an Azimio candidate will have his way or her way come 2027. One thing that has motivated the Azimio fraternity led by Raila Odinga is that The Cherera Four. This is Juliana Cherera, Irene Masit, Francis Wanderi, and Justice Nyang'aya. The four dissenting commissioners walianika peupe kilichokuwa kinafanyika kwa giza hapo tume ya IBC. And Raila believes that the legitimacy of William Ruto is still being questioned after the Cherera team came out and showed the whole world what was happening. Because had they not come out, people would have not known what was happening. Because whether they are lying or not, whether Chebukati, as it is now, it is their word against that of Chebukati. It has indicted that very sacred office. Because the moment these people are divided in the middle, then that alone tells you that the results were never credible. Whether they are right or wrong, it tells you that if they cannot speak with one language, there was a problem. So Raila believes strongly that Cherera and the team saw the mess and the rot that was happening, and they have shown the whole world, and therefore as they approach 2027, they know what is happening and they can now deal with it. They can now fill the loopholes that were there. Do you think Azimio can win it in 2027? Because while very many people still feel that William Ruto was never the president in the just concluded election, but they defeated, in quotes, Raila. And now they're saying that now that he's got the sword, that he's going to sweep them away. If you look at the tactics that William Ruto is using, he's trying to also consolidate his support base. And he's busy rallying those who did not vote for him. He's busy looking for the former governors who did not support him, and he's rallying them to support him. He has charged Rigathi Gachagua to consolidate the central vote base, those who did not support those who were in Azimio, and that's why people like Kanini Kega are now supporting Rigathi Gachagua. And the Chief Minister Musalia Mudavadi has also been told to ensure that those who voted for Raila Odinga should now come back to UDA, because the truth is there was a dismal performance from Mudavadi. He did not deliver compared to Moses Wetangula. Whether votes were rigged or not, using the IEBC record, Wetangula performed better than Musalia Mudavadi. So William Ruto is not sleeping. The IEBC is one place that William Ruto wants to ensure that he's got people who will not again be divided. They will speak with one language to declare William. He will not allow such a thing to happen, that there's a group of some commissioners who are divided to disagree with the official position of the chairman. And this is why Raila Odinga really wants